So go ahead and sit down on your mat, and you can sit up on a blanket or a pillow if you're at home. Just get comfortable. And so once you're seated, just do a few shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders forward and back. And taking a few slow breaths here. And then go the opposite direction. So roll the shoulders forward. Warming up through our shoulder joint. And soften your shoulders away from your earlobes. Relax the sides and back of your neck. Keep your chin level with the earth. And just soften your gaze or close your eyes. Just begin to notice how your body reacts to stillness and quiet. Begin to notice the sensations of your own body. So notice the temperature of your skin, the sound of your breath. Notice any points of tension or clenching. And remain calm. We'll be here for just a little while longer. Relax the muscles around your eyes and ears. And whenever you're ready, begin to lift your hands up away from your knees and then swivel your hands on top of your heart. Take a few rounds of breath. Breathe into the palms of your hands. Pull your heart forward and draw your shoulder blades back. Soften through your elbows. Now you can blink open your eyes and you're gonna take your hands and now just hook your thumbs, but you're gonna keep your palms facing in. Sit up tall. And as you inhale, just begin to stretch your fingers forward and out like you were giving someone a giant hug. And then exhale, bring your hands back on top of your heart with the thumbs hooked. So let's do this 3 rounds and you can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Warming up through the arms and our wingspan. And go slow, 1 more round. Okay, and so now blink open your eyes and we're gonna do that same pattern 3 times, but we're gonna get the spine involved. So the arms are gonna do the same thing. So now as you inhale, begin to stretch your arms forward and now arch your spine, broaden through your collarbones and gaze forward and up. And as you exhale, as you gather your palms on top of your body, tuck your chin slightly in, then round through your upper back. So do this 3 times, inhale. And exhale. Keep your breath smooth and soft. 1 more round. And at the end of your exhale, just pause, allow your spine to round. Keep tucking your chin in towards your chest. Soften through the back of your neck. And then lift the crown of your head and sit up tall. And so you're going to swivel your hands so the palms will face forward and now hook your thumbs. And this is going to be the pattern that will repeat itself throughout class. So press firmly against your thumbs and stretch your fingers wide, almost like a butterfly. And then now stretch your arms up and overhead. And see if you can squeeze the side of your head with your upper arms. And then inhale here, breathe into your armpits. Good. And then exhale, tip over to the left. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, tip over to the other side. And we'll just move from side to side, waking up through our side bodies. So just move from left to right. One more time on the left and right. Imagine that you were just airing out your armpits here. And come up on your next inhale. Wave your arms by your sides. Okay, so I'll mirror you here in this moment. Take your right finger pads down and sweep your left arm up and overhead. So let's hold this side body stretch. Press down into your right finger pads. Lift up by your left fingernails and then rotate your torso and gaze up. Breathe into the outside of your hip. One more inhale. And as you exhale, take your left finger pads forward, reach them forward, and now flip your palm to face up. Bring your fingertips past your navel and then switch. Gaze to your left, and the left finger pads down. Sweep your right arm up and overhead and take a side bend. Ground through your sitting bones and continue to reach up and to the left. Gaze up. And take one more inhale. And as you exhale, stretch your right finger pads forward as you gaze forward. And now flip your palm up. Graze your navel, and then we'll move from one side to the other. Inhale, sweep your left arm up. But now as you exhale, just swim your arm across your body and then move to the other side. And take your time. So it's a little bit more of a deeper side body bend and stretch. Good. And sit up tall whenever you're ready. You can change the cross of your legs if you like, so the opposite shin is in front. Take your hands and cup your knees. If your knees feel far away, sit up a little bit taller. Let's do a few rounds of a seated cat-cow. As you inhale, press your palms into your knees, pull your heart forward and gaze forward and up. And as you exhale, begin to round your spine. Tuck your chin towards your chest and gaze at your navel. And just do a few of these. Continue to warm up through the spine. One more. Okay. On your next inhale, sit up tall. Lengthen through the back of your neck and lift the crown of your head up. And now tuck your chin towards your chest, so bow your head. Bring your chin towards the notch in between your collarbones. Breathe through the back of your neck. Unclench your teeth and soften through your jaw. Let's do a few neck rolls. And so from here, begin to roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then tuck your chin in. Left ear, left shoulder. And keep going like that. Move from one side to the other and go slow. One more time on the right and the left. Okay, the next time you tuck your chin towards your chest, pause, keep lengthening through the back of your neck. Take your hands and interlace them behind the back of your head. Press your palms into the back of your head and then roll your elbows forward. So try to avoid rounding through your upper back. We're just simply bowing your head. Good. And now from here, press the back of your head into your palms and widen your elbows. Gaze forward. And so we're going to try to maintain this movement just through our upper back and your neck. As you inhale, begin to lean back, widen your elbows and gaze up like we're laying at a beach. And as you exhale now, draw your elbow tips in, tuck your chin towards your chest and gaze into your lap. Do this a couple of times. Inhale, almost like we're limiting our cat-cow to our upper spine and our neck. One more. Good. And pause here. Release the back of your neck. Walk your hands forward and then roll over your shins and come to a hands and knees position or tabletop. And so those of you on a hardwood surface, you might want to pad your knees with a blanket that's right next to you. If you're at home, you might be okay on a carpeted surface. Tuck all 10 of your toes and keep your thigh bones perpendicular to the earth. Now draw your navel in, rib cage gathers in. Gaze forward towards the top edge of your mat. As you inhale, tip your sitting bones up, soften your belly and pull your heart forward. Exhale, begin to round your spine. Navel gathers in and gaze behind you. Do a few more of these traditional cat-cow motions of the spine. Continue to stretch through your belly. So do 2 more just like that. And go slow, there's no rush. On your next inhale, come back into that neutral tabletop position. And then walk your knees and toes a little closer to one another for a more narrow tabletop position. Press into your palms and stretch your right toes back behind you. All 5 toes point down. Take your left hand and place it on top of your heart. Navel gathers in, and now stretch your left finger pads forward towards my voice. And I like to flip the thumb so it faces up. Good. Take a slow round of breath here. And set the left palm down. And now bend your right knee. So your right foot is going to point towards the ceiling. Take a huge breath in here. And as you exhale, you're going to tuck your right knee behind your left. Inhale, press your right foot up. Exhale, tuck it back. One more, just notice the activation of your glutes. And this time as you exhale, set your right knee down behind your left and untuck your toes. Swivel your heels wide and hug your inner thighs and knees together. It's almost like you were sitting in a chair, but you're sitting in tabletop right now. Walk your hands forward about a handprint. Make sure that your knees are supported. And now press your seat back towards the space in between your shins. Allow your seat to hover. Inhale, glide forward. Keep hugging your inner thighs together. And then exhale, press it back. One more. And this time as you exhale, just pause and allow your seat to hover. And you can stay here and breathe. If you really want, you can walk your hands back and sit in the space in between your shins for a Gomukasan. And just sit up tall here and breathe. And then from here, slowly begin to walk the hands forward. If you're sitting upright, you're going to return back into that shape with the knees down and the heels sole open and wide. And then bring your heels together and then uncross your knees. Come back into a tabletop position. Sway your hips from side to side. Okay. And so now with your knees together, tuck your toes and extend your right toes back, but keep the ball of your right foot down. Swivel your back heel so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. Kickstand your left toes behind you, and then wave your right arm up for a modified side plank. And now gaze up towards your right thumb, lean the back of your head back slightly, and stretch all 5 of your right fingernails up. Breathe into the outside of your right hip. One more round of breath. Okay. And so now I'd like you to come up onto your left finger pads. So you're putting minimal weight into the left wrist. Stretch your right arm up as much as you can and then out so that you can come all the way up to a gate position. Good. Support yourself with a blanket if you need to with your left knee. Take your thumbs, and I'd like you to hook them once again, and then stretch your arms up and then towards the right about 2 inches. Good. Yeah, don't hold your breath. Just hold this shape. Now you're going to stay tilted towards the right, but you're going to simply unhook your thumbs and stretch your right arm down. Reach up with your left fingernails. Yeah, so a more traditional gate shape of the body. Good. Inhale, come up. Exhale, look down and set your palms down. Keep this gate shape of your legs. Right palm stays down. Sweep your left arm. Left arm sweeps up and overhead. And then exhale, dive your left arm underneath your chest. Come onto the outside of your left shoulder. So you should be gazing towards your right toes. You can slide your right arm forward if you'd like. And take another slow round of breath here in a thread the needle gait. Slide your right palm underneath the shoulder. Press into your palm and unthread your left arm up. And then exhale, set the palm down, tuck your knee underneath you, and then sway your hips from side to side. Okay, so we'll do that whole long sequence on the left. Let's see if I can remember each of these shapes. Come back into that narrow tabletop with your knees and toes together, and then stretch your left toes back. All 5 toes point down, press out through the left heel. Gather your navel in, rib cage gathers in, and then take your right hand and place it on top of your heart. Breathe into your hand and stretch your right finger pads forward for a spinal balance. And again, I like the thumb to point up here. One more inhale. And then exhale, set the right palm down and bend your left knee so the left foot is pointing up. Inhale here. Then exhale, tuck your left knee behind your right, like a little curtsy of the knees. Inhale, lift your left foot up. And then exhale, tuck it behind. One more, inhale. And as you exhale, as you tuck your left knee behind, set your knees down, untuck your toes and swivel your heels wide. And so adjust the stance so that your inner thighs and knees are towards one another, and then walk your hands forward about a handprint. Inhale here. And then exhale, begin to press your seat back. 2 more like that, inhale. And exhale. 1 more. And this time as you exhale, you have this opportunity to pause and breathe into your seat. And of course you can stay here, or if you really like, you can just walk yourself up and sit into a Gomukasan shape. So take your time, and there's no pressure to be in any particular position. Keep your breath smooth here. And slowly walk your hands forward if you're sitting upright. Adjust your stance and come back into a tabletop position. Give your hips a little sway side to side. Okay, and tuck your toes, and then stretch your left foot back behind you. Now pivot your left foot so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat, and kickstand your left toes behind you. Inhale, raise your left arm up and overhead. Modified side plank. Good. Now lean back, gaze up towards your left thumb. Breathe into the outside of your left hip. 1 more round of breath. And from here, now come up onto your right finger pads. Create a little tent there. Stretch your left arm back so that you can come up. for a gate position. Yeah. Take your hands and we'll come back into that butterfly shape with the thumbs hooked. Stretch your arms up and tip over to the left about 2 inches. Create space along the right side body. Okay. Now slowly unhook the thumbs and then wave your left arm down. Stretch your right arm up and overhead. Yeah, for this more traditional gate shape of the body. Slowly come up. Place both palms down underneath the shoulders. Left palm stays down and stretch your right arm up and overhead. And as you exhale, thread your right arm underneath your chest. Go onto the outside of your shoulder, and you should be gazing towards your left toes. Slide your left arm forward so your arms make about a 90-degree angle. And slide your left palm under the shoulder. Press into your palm and unthread your right arm up. And exhale, set the palm down. Tuck your knee underneath you. And sway your hips from side to side. You can adjust your stance so that you're facing towards the front of the room. One last little shape in tabletop. Bring your knees wide and untuck your toes and seal the base of your big toes together. Sit back onto your heels. Walk your hands forward and keep your arms activated so that your elbows are lifted up off of your mat. On your next inhale, press into your palms firmly. Slowly glide forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. And perhaps here in this moment, you can pick up your toes and sink your pelvis down. And then exhale, lower your toes and return back into that activated child's pose. So we'll do this 3 times. And again, you choose if you like to lift your toes or not, moving into this king cobra shape. Stretching your belly, creating space in the pelvis. Do one more. And the next time you return to that activated child's pose, let's make this passive. So soften your forearms and elbows down. And just rest here for about 3 rounds of breath before we begin to move again. Wonderful. And shift forward. Set your knees about hips width distance apart and tuck your toes. And we'll all meet in a downward facing dog. Lift your sitting bones up. And keep your knees quite bent. Press down into the heels of your hands. Rotate your elbow creases so they face forward. And draw your belly to your upper thighs. You can pedal out your feet if you like. Our first downward facing dog. And enjoy this moment. We don't have too many downward facing dogs in class for this morning. Okay, pause in this downward facing dog. On your next inhale, gaze forward. And then exhale, make your way forward to the top of your space for a forward fold. And keep your feet about hips width distance apart. That's 2 fists next to one another. Bend your knees and allow yourself to rest on your upper thighs. And gaze behind you. Breathe into the back of your legs. Okay, so stay folded forward. Just start to bring your feet a little closer to one another. Keep your knees bent. And I'd like you to cross your left foot behind your right. Left foot behind your right. Keep your knees quite bent so you can plant both of your feet down. Okay, and if you like, you can always place blocks underneath your hands for some stability or come up onto your finger pads. With your knees bent, I'd like you to push your butt back in space and then lift your tailbone up. You should feel a little bit more of a greater stretch behind your hamstrings and your lower glutes. Good. Slowly uncross your legs. And we'll do that on the other side. So this time, cross your right foot, tuck it behind your left. Bend your knees, and we'll do that same thing. Both feet planted, butt back, and now lift your tailbone up. So you might even feel like you're leaning back slightly, and that's great. Notice that my feet and knees are actually still pretty bent here, and that's for stability. Uncross your feet, plant both of your feet down, and draw your navel in, and then take 2 to 3 rounds of breath to slowly roll all the way up. Once your spine is vertical, sweep your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, just set your palms down by your sides. Okay, so we're gonna move through a little bit of a balance challenge today. And so I'm gonna be changing my view from facing forward and facing towards you. When I face towards you, I'm gonna try to mirror you the best I can. And so from here, bend your knees a little bit so you've got buoyancy. And now I want you to raise your left leg up. You can clasp your hands right below your kneecap if you like to give it a squeeze. Make sure that your right knee stays a little bent here. Press down into the ball of your foot. And now release your knee, and you're gonna tuck your left foot behind your right. Now you know why I'm cueing it that way. Okay. So we're gonna come into that Tadasana shape that we were just in, but now we're standing up tall. Take your thumbs and hook them. Good. You're gonna lift up. Good, and a tip over to the right about 2 inches. Keep your knees bent for stability. Near the wall there if you like. Good. Okay, you're gonna come up, release the hook of your thumbs. And now from here, bend your knees and you're gonna re-raise your left knee up and then step it back behind you for a crescent lunge. So take your time, look at a space in front of you that's not moving, and then step your left toes back. And you can always wiggle them back so you have that firm stance of crescent lunge. Left leg stays straight, sweep your arms up and overhead, hook the thumbs, and then exhale, lean over to the right about 2 inches. So enough that you feel that side bend stretch, but not enough that you're about to fall on the ground. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, you're gonna step forward. Left foot meets your right and just give it a shake. Okay, so we'll do that same sequence on the other side. And notice that it's basic to start with because we're gonna add on. And then slowly raise your right foot up. And then we'll start just by giving it a little clasp, a little hip compression. And then step your right foot behind your left. Just tuck it behind. Okay, and make sure that both feet are planted. You're gonna have to bend your knees for this. And lift your fingertips up. And then tip over to the left about 2 inches. And create like a crescent moon shape of the body. Inhale, come up. And then from here, wave your arms down. Pick up your right knee. Just so that you can step it back. That one-legged Tadasana. Little transition, okay? And then wiggle it back. Sweep your arms up. Keep your right leg as straight as you can. Hook the thumbs, and then exhale, tip over to the left about 2 inches for a side bend. Breathe into the outside of your hip and your IT band here, your psoas. Good. And then come up, and you'll step your right foot forward to meet your left. And then just tap the backs of your knees, give your legs a little shake. Okay, so now, if you have a block at home or a hardcover book, just make sure that it's at the front of your mat so it's handy, okay? So we're gonna go a little bit further. Bring weight into your right foot, raise your left knee up, and then you're gonna tuck it behind your right, okay? So now I want you to grab a hold of your block. Let's see what's the best way. I'm gonna do it from the side view, okay? So just start with the block for stability because you're gonna have to slide your back foot out. So your right foot is in front of your left. And now come onto the outside edge of your left foot and imagine you were a speed skater. Push your left foot to the right. So you're on the pinky side edge of your left foot. Right knee bent, left leg straight. And so now from here, push your hands into the blocks and then just start to hinge forward any amount. Like you could bring your nose towards your block. And you can use more than one block. I'm just using one block just for the demo. You should feel this big stretch along the outside of your right hip and IT band. Come up slightly. Now take your left hand on the block. Wrap it around so you feel stable. Take your right hand on your hip crease. And now just start to gaze past your right shoulder and towards your left foot, like a little mini twist, bringing the right hip back. Yeah. Good. Gaze forward. Bring both hands onto your block. And then you're just going to wiggle the left foot all the way back for a crescent lunge shape. Just wiggle it back. There's not really a graceful way to do it. And set your block off to the side for the moment. Then once you feel stable, sweep your arms up and overhead. And then exhale, hook the thumbs and then lean over to the right about 2 inches. You're doing great. Inhale, come up. Release the hook of your thumbs and then exhale, step forward. Shake out your legs. Okay, we'll do that same thing on the other side, that little speed skater shape. Okay. And so from here, raise your right knee up. And then start by just tucking it behind. And then lean over, grab a hold of the block, and then shimmy your right foot to the left. Like you were a speed skater. You're on the pinky side edge of your right foot. And then from here, grabbing a hold of your block or multiple blocks. Now hinge forward. Imagine you could bring the tip of your nose to your block. Breathe into the outside of your left leg. Good. Okay, and then come up. Right palm on your block this time and left hand on your hip crease. And then now simply looking behind your left shoulder will move the left hip back and you'll feel that deeper stretch. Good. Gaze forward, move your block off to the side with your finger pads down. Just shimmy your right toes back behind you. Come into a low lunge position. Once you feel stable, sweep your arms up and overhead. And then with hooked thumbs, exhale, tip over to the left 2 inches. Inhale, come up. And then this time as you exhale, wave your arms down, frame your left foot, and step forward. And I'd like you to just shake out your legs. Tap the backs of your knees into the space behind you. If you'd like, you can take your hands to fists and almost like beat the backs of your legs with your fists. Sometimes this can feel good after you've done a lot of lower body work. You can even do that to the sides of your legs as well. Just give it a little shake before we move on. Okay, we have one more of that little sequence to do and we'll also add on. So navel gathers in, just slowly roll all the way up. Okay, and so from here, gaze forward, weight into your right foot, raise your left foot up. Exhale, tuck it behind you. Okay, so now you're here. Take your hands, hook the thumbs, lift up. And as you exhale, bend your knees and then tip over to the right. And we'll pulse. Inhale, come up, straighten through your legs slightly, and then exhale, tip over to the right. One more, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, come up. And then you're gonna take your back knee, raise it up, and then step back behind you. Wiggle your toes back, then sweep your arms up and overhead. Hook the thumbs, and then exhale, tip over to the right 2 inches. Inhale, come up. Now bring your palms to touch above the crown of your head. Pivot your back heel down and open up into a warrior two. And just pause here in this warrior two. Just feel both of your feet underneath you in this sturdy shape. Inhale, flip the front palm and tip back, reverse warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. Place your right forearm on the top of your thigh. Sweep your left arm up and overhead. And pause and breathe here in this side body stretch. A lot of side body work today. Inhale, come up. Warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Swivel your left heel up and step forward. And shake out your legs. Bend your knees, scoop your navel in, and roll all the way up. Just one last side to do. Okay. Then from here, weight into your left foot. Raise your right knee up. Exhale, tuck it behind you. Okay. And so from here, hook the thumbs, raise your arms up. Now, before you move, you know where we're going. So make sure the knees stay bent so you can plant both of your feet, and that will help with stability. And then exhale, tip over to the left as you bend your knees slightly. Inhale, come up. Straighten your legs. And then exhale, tip over. Little pulsation. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come up. And then you'll step back into that crescent lunge shape. Pick up the right knee and just step the toes back. And then wiggle them back behind you. Hook the thumbs and sweep your arms up. Exhale, tip over to the left. On your next inhale, come up. And then place your palms to touch. Then exhale, open up into a warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, extended side angle. Left forearm on the thigh. Sweep your right arm up. And just pause and breathe here. On your next inhale, return to a warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Frame your left foot and swivel your right heel up so you're in a low lunge position. Now press into your palms and you're going to step your left foot back to meet your right for a downward facing dog. Our second and your last downward facing dog of class. Pedal out your feet. Breathe into your back body. And from downward facing dog, slowly wave your body forward through a plank, but then lower your knees, untuck your toes, and come into a child's pose shape. So you can keep your knees together or apart. It's up to you. We'll be here for about 5 rounds of breath. And just pause in this child's pose position, bow your head, and rest your forehead onto something, perhaps a blanket, a block, or maybe your mat. Begin to slow the breath down. Okay, when you're ready, slowly come back into a tabletop position. Okay, so we're going to close with a little bit more hip and IT band work. And so from a tabletop position, you're going to step your right foot wide outside of your hands. And of course, utilize your blocks. If you'd like, you can set them underneath your hands or just make sure they're handy. Come up onto your finger pads. And now shimmy your right foot forward a little bit. And then now sink your hips and pelvis down. Look at your right knee. Make sure it's not going beyond the ankle. So it's slightly behind or just stacked. Pull your heart forward and gaze forward. Good. And we're going to actually stay upright here, as opposed to hinging forward into this lizard shape or a runner's lunge. Breathe into your left psoas and the outside of your hip and glute. Okay, so I'd like you to all stay exactly as you are and just watch what the two options are, okay? Your first option is you're gonna press yourself back and then just watch what I do. I'm going to sit back into an Ardha Virasana with the inner thighs and knees together and the left heel tucked. That's option one. Option two is if you know that that shape is not gonna be for you, you can swivel your left heel to the right and then just sit back. And you're coming into this Ardha Konasana shape. Okay, so make your decision and come back. Take your time as you adjust. Just shifting back. Of course, sit up on a blanket if you like. If you're in Ardha Virasana, please squeeze your inner thighs and knees together and sit up tall. Okay, all right, from here, now, before we hook the thumbs, I want you to make sure that the right heel is anchored so much that you can even bend your right knee as you pull it towards you, okay? This whole back of the leg should feel activated, okay? Flex your toes towards you. Now hook the thumbs and reach your arms up and overhead. Sit up tall. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, begin to wave your arms forward and down. Gaze at your right toes. Press into your sternum bones and come all the way up using the strength of the back of your leg. Exhale, wave it down. One more, inhale. And as you exhale, wave your arms down. Now unhook your thumbs and place your arms on either side of your right shin and bow your head. Breathe into the back of your right leg and your hamstring specifically. Every time I utilize that hooked thumb mudra, most of you know that this is usually where we end up. It's one of my favorite shapes for the hamstring. And then slowly roll up. And again, just watch for a moment as we come into this next shape. If you are in Ardha Virasana, you're gonna pick up your right knee and you're just gonna lower it and you're gonna come into a deer shape. So you're gonna place your right foot on the top of your left thigh. If you are in Ardha Konasana, you'll have to pick up your left knee first, lean over to the right, and then just swing your heel back behind you. And then do that same thing. Okay? So make your way into this shape. I'll mirror you here. Okay. And then now just start to turn your torso towards the right. Bring your finger pads down. Press your right foot into the top of your left thigh and sit up tall. Twist from your low belly. And keep twisting, twisting, twisting. And now from here, now that you've got that low supine twist, you can walk your hands away from you any amount. And take your time. Just allow yourself to stay a little bit more upright and tilted. And then slowly come up. Okay, keep leaning to the right and then scoop underneath your left knee and push out through the left heel to straighten through the leg. Okay, some of us have been in this shape already, but you're gonna be wide here. Okay. Take your left hand and slide it towards your ankle and then sweep your right arm up and overhead. Just breathe here. And the stretch is super great for the QL, especially if you do a lot of sitting, a lot of slouching. And slowly come up. Okay, so now there's not a great way to come out of this shape, but we're gonna make our way to tabletop. So just come back into a tabletop position. Give your hips a little sway side to side. All right, so from tabletop, you're gonna step your left foot wide outside of your hands and forward a little bit. You might have to shimmy it forward. Come up onto your finger pads, and then just start to stretch your hips and pelvis forward, and now scoop them down. You can untuck your back toes if you like. And just be mindful that if you untuck your back toes, you're going to go a little bit deeper. The toes being tucked is almost like a stopgap. It prevents you from going deeper than you'd like. And breathe here. And so now make your decision. We're going to shift your hips back and come into that either Ardha Virasana half hero shape, or we'll come into that Ardha Baddha Konasana. And again, one's not better than the other, right? Especially since we're targeting the straight leg. And that leg is going to be the same, whatever position you come into. And sit up tall, hook the thumbs, make sure that your left heel is anchored and you're pulling your toes towards you. Reach your arms up, and then exhale, wave them down. And 2 more like that. Inhale and exhale. 1 more. And as you exhale, wave your arms down, unhook your thumbs, and frame your left shin. Breathe in through your left hamstring and glute. Slowly come up onto your finger pads and roll your spine up, and we'll make our way into that deer shape. Your entry point will differ based on whatever you're in, and I'll mirror you here. So you should be facing your left knee. Sit up tall and walk your hands out, outside your left hip. Lift the crown of your head, and now twist from your low belly. Keep twisting as much as your body will allow. And now walk your hands away from you. You're doing great. Walk your hands towards you. Gaze forward. Scoop underneath your right knee and push the right heel away from you, straightening the leg. Adjust your stance. Slide your right hand down and then sweep your left arm up and overhead. And then breathe here. Our last upright shape. And slowly come up. All right, scoop underneath both knees, and you're gonna lay all the way down onto your back. And make sure that you have enough space behind you. Keep your knees bent. Come into a constructive rest shape. So perhaps your feet wide and your knees together. And allow your body to relax and breathe here as you move through a few closing shapes. And from here, heel toe your feet towards one another. Knees stay bent. And cross your right leg over your left like you were sitting in a chair. Pull your thighs in, swivel your heels wide. Oh, we've been in this shape before, but we were upright. Take your hands and reach for the outsides of your shins or ankles. Inner thighs and knees hug together. And breathe. Breathe into the outside of your hip and this whale's tail shape of the body. And then release your ankles or your shins. Okay, and so from here, we're gonna move into a supine twist. So set your feet down, scoot your hips 1 inch to the right. You can keep this cross of your legs or uncross them, and then bring your knees to the left. Once your knees are down, roll the right shoulder back, gaze up or towards the right. Roll onto your back. Uncross your legs if they're crossed. And we'll move to the other side. Adjust your hips. Left leg over right. And pull your knees in. Reach for the outsides of your shins or ankles. Inner thighs and knees hug together. And release your ankles, set your feet down, and move into a supine twist, bringing your knees to the right. And you choose whatever variation you like. Slowly make your way onto your back. Uncross your legs. And just begin to push one heel out at a time, straightening your legs for Shavasana. And just for a few final moments, allow your body to be still and relax. I'll call you back momentarily. Soften through the tops of your shoulders, your chest and belly, and the muscles in your face. So you can keep your body relaxed and your eyes closed. Notice the surging flow of breath as it pours into your chest and belly. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms up and overhead. And gather your knees in towards your chest and roll to one side. And pause here in a fetal position. Press your palms into the earth and come up to sitting. And once you're seated, swivel your hands on top of your heart. And as we bow our head towards our heart, we honor one another. And when you're ready, lift your gaze.